4-2 one night in Toronto in October. Fast forward a few months. 5-2. Pens win! Penguins and Maple Leafs. Right now on Penguins postgame. Let's get rolling. Pens, Maple Leafs, Crosby versus Matthews. Let's start. Let's get rolling. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, Shooty scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins postgame. A PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. The Penguins defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs to get even in the season series. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Penguins Postgame. We were going to do a pre-show, but ran out of time to do so. That is partially my fault. I take full responsibility for that because we overran PWHL recap at the time. That is partially my fault, so I apologize to Thomas and everyone who was probably looking forward to that. That is partially my fault. I am Scott McGregor. Sorry about that, everyone. I take full responsibility for that. But the Penguins beat the Maple Leafs 5-2, our final score in PPG Paints Arena tonight. And yes, the next time the Maple Leafs and the Penguins will play will be, note the start time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on March 2nd, 2025. Time now to get to the head coaches and our matchup between the pipes. Let's get to it, shall we? Craig Brubre is our head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mike Sullivan at the helm once again for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. The head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs is Craig Brubre. Craig, if I pronounce your last name wrong, I apologize. And I apologize to all of Maple Leaf Nation for getting a guy like this name's wrong. His name wrong. I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. Penguins Nation. Penguins won. So guess what you get? 10-piece chicken McNuggets at your local Pittsburgh McDonald's retailer. If the Penguins scored during the Big Mac attack in the second period, you would have also scored a free Big Mac. They did not, but that's okay. You know what you did score? Early in the game, you scored half off Rusty Shakes because Brian Rust scored a little late in the first period, but Brian Rust scored, so Penguin fans, not only did you get 10-piece chicken McNuggets at your local Pittsburgh McDonald's retailer, if they are still running that. I don't know if that is still the case. Of course, we're not sponsored by all that, but I just like to bring that up. The same as I'll bring up a couple other things over the course of the program, but we would be here all night if I brought that to you. Time now for our matchup between the pipes. But again, just like I said, you also scored half off Rusty Shakes at the Milkshake Factory, the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins, tomorrow ahead of the Penguins' next game, which is Tuesday night versus the Colorado Avalanche. But before we get to all of that, time to get to our matchup between the pipes. We've done the coaches. They are Craig Berube and Mike Sullivan. Tonight, the matchup is Tristan Jarry versus Joseph Woll. At the backup, it's Anthony Stolaris for the Maple Leafs. Backing up Tristan Jarry is Alex Nedeljkovic. Last meeting, when the Maple Leafs beat the Penguins 4-2 at Scotiabank Arena, our matchup was rookie goaltender it was rookie goaltender Joel Blomqvist with Tristan Jarry backing up him. That was the matchup for the Penguins. Dennis Hildeby was the backup to Anthony Stolaris, who had the job in goal when the game was in Toronto. This next game the Penguins and the Maple Leafs will play will be in the same spot they played tonight at PPG Paints Arena. This time it's an early game, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that being said, quickly here before we take our first break, our officials tonight: Wes McCauley, Furman South. The referees: linesman James Tobias and Jesse Marquise are the linesmen. So the linesmen tonight, James Tobias and Jesse Marquise. And our referees tonight, Furman South and Wes McCauley. With that said, we are going to take a break. When we come back, the goal scorers in this game in round 2 of 3 between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, as our double trouble wraps up with this second edition of hockey on Penguins postgame. Earlier it was PWHL recap that ran a little over time. Again, my apologies for that. But be sure to stick with us, because pretty soon we'll be sending you off to Maple Leaf Post recap for the recap of that game, which is available first on the Ice and Behind the Benches, and then can be heard later here on Sports for Beginners. We're also sending you off to Bills post game, Bills versus Rams. Of course, that game plays out tomorrow afternoon at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. So lots of great content still to come, including the Bills game as well this week. With that said, now we're going to take our break. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo. Two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Welcome back to Penguins Postgame here. The second portion postgame of our Double Trouble on Sports for Beginners. Unfortunately, Double Trouble was unable to go full throttle with Penguins and Leafs because I wasn't able to allow Thomas to have enough time to give me keys to victory and, of course, get a full-on Penguins pre-show out to you guys as well. Of course, all these have yet to be put out on our podcast feed as we are recording them right now, but please be patient with us. We will get them out to you as soon as we possibly can. Please be patient with us. We will get them out as soon as we can. With that said, it's time to get down to business. We're going to start with the game scorers before we go to the penalty takers. And I might take a break in between. Our venue, once again, PPG Paints Arena tonight. It's the same venue that it will be when the Toronto Maple Leafs battle the Pittsburgh Penguins in the new year on March 2nd, 2025, excuse me. We're in 2024. We're going to be in 2025 by that time. And again, note the start time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, from PPG Paints Arena. All right. You know what? Let's try to engrave penalty takers and goal scorers in one, because we only saw one penalty taken in the first period, and that ultimately led to the game's first goal. So the penalty for the Maple Leafs, which got things started in the first period, belongs to Matthew Nyes, a 2-minute minor for holding the stick 3 minutes and 56 seconds in. And this was originally given to Matt Grzelcyk for his first goal as a Pittsburgh Penguin. It was credited actually to number 67, Rickard Rakell. And Rickard Rakell now has his 11th goal of the season because of that reschedulement. But Matt Grzelcyk does, or change in the goal credit, I should say. But Rickard Rakell does also see Matt Grzelcyk get a bit of praises there. He gets an assist here, his 12th of the season. Matt Grzelcyk, 12th of the season for him in the assist category. Speaking of that, Kevin Hayes also picking up his 3rd assist of the season. 4 minutes and 39 seconds in. A PPG for PGH on a costly Maple Leaf penalty. But guess what? The Maple Leafs do kill off a couple penalties here, and the Penguins only able to score twice on the power play. Not 3, not 4, not 5 times. But we're going to find out all about that in a second. Shots after 20 minutes. You know what? I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to go continuing on. But after that goal by Rickard Rakell, it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson picking up his 9th assist of the season. Austin Matthews. Welcome back, Austin. In case I haven't been made aware that he has been back in the game. His 9th assist of the season as well. This quickly ties things up after the Rickard Rakell power play goal. And this is a Mitch Marner goal. His 10th of the season. Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the assist, his 9th of the season. Austin Matthews, his 9th of the season as well on the assist. Time of the goal, 6 minutes, 35 seconds. So 2 minutes and a couple seconds later, the Maple Leafs tie this one up quickly at 1-1. But don't think that's going to stop the Rusty Razor. In Rust, we trust. And this is one of the main reasons why Penguin fans, starting tomorrow and until probably after Tuesday's game, I'm not sure how long that's valid, but regardless, because Rust scored tonight, you earned half off Rusty Shakes at the Milkshake Factory, the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brian Rust gets the Penguins back the lead 2-1, his 9th goal of the season. And on that note, not only is that Brian Rust's 9th goal of the season, but the captain, Sidney Crosby, picks up an assist, his 19th of the season. Rickard Rakell also picking up an assist, his 7th of the season on the Rust goal. And after 20, it's Penguins 2. And the Maple Leafs 1. Maple Leafs 1. Penguins 2. After 40 minutes. After 20, I should say. Time of the goal for Brian Rust, 14 minutes, 15 seconds. Shots on goal. We're going to get to that after we go through the period by period goal scorers and penalties. Only one goal scored in the second period. That was a Maple Leaf goal, PPG for TOR. And that was scored by number 88, William Nylander. his 17th goal of the season. Mitch Marner on the assist, his 28th of the season. Austin Matthews, second assist of the night, 10th of the season. 2 minutes and 32 seconds in, the Maple Leafs have tied it up on the power play. It's 2-2 through 40. But here's what else went on in that second period. Chris Letang takes a interference call, 2-minute for interference, at a minute and 34 seconds into the second period. And then during that time span, William Nylander makes him pay and makes this score 2-2 before we get to the third period, because nothing else happened scoring-wise in the second period. As much as you would like, nothing did. What did happen, the Maple Leafs take 2 more penalties, both to Max Pacioretty. First for roughing at 5 minutes and 33 seconds. And then Pacioretty goes for roughing 7 minutes and 45 seconds after that. Both penalties killed off by the Maple Leafs. And speaking of getting killed off, after they answer with a power play goal of their very own, only in the second period, the Penguins answer back with a penalty kill of their own, as Erik Karlsson's penalty for tripping 8 minutes and 48 seconds into the second period is killed off by the Penguins penalty killing unit. Third period we go, tied at 2-2 after 40 minutes. And this is where it gets interesting. Austin Matthews taking a early penalty yet again. 4 minutes and 24 seconds in, Matthews will go to the box for high sticking, which early on when I was watching the game, as I was actually watching it, but then looking at the live box score as well, it said he was going to get a game misconduct according to Sportsnet, but he didn't. He got a 2 minutes for high sticking, 4 minutes and 24 seconds in, and in that time, Michael Bunting, the former Leaf, hits his 6th goal of the season. And it's against his former team. It's the second PPG for PGH of the hockey game, and the final PPG of for PGH, I should say, of the hockey game. Erik Karlsson, an assist on the last power play goal. Oh no, sorry, an assist on the last goal the Penguins scored. No, he didn't actually. He didn't have that one. That was actually Hayes and Grzelcyk on the assist of that power play goal, and he doesn't have an assist yet. So he gets his 16th assist of the season on the goal by Michael Bunting, his 6th of the season. Karlsson's 16th assist of the season. He's been making a name for himself since he came to Pittsburgh, at the hands of the unspoken Kyle Dubas. But we'll talk about Dubas another time. Later in the period, the Maple Leafs go to the penalty kill again, 10 minutes and 47 seconds in. This penalty goes to Alex Nylander. So wait, there's two Nylanders? That's right, there's two Nylanders. Alex Nylander, a former Pittsburgh Penguin. He wasn't a Pittsburgh Penguin for long, I'll tell you right now. But he was a Pittsburgh Penguin. So he goes to the box, 2 minutes for holding the stick. Time of the penalty, 10 minutes and 47 seconds. Maple Leafs get lucky on that penalty. They kill that one off. And then after that, the Penguins have to kill off a penalty served by Brian Rust for high sticking. 17 minutes and 47 seconds into the third period. During that time span of the Rust penalty, the final goals get scored because Craig Berube says, we're going to go ahead and pull Joseph Woll. An unfortunate decision to say the least, because the Penguins score not once, but twice, short-handed. The first one, gifted to Blake Lizotte. He strikes again. Blake Lizotte making a name for himself here since coming over in one of the trades that happened to get him. And that was a trade with the Nashville Predators. But he's making a name for himself here. 6th goal of the season now for him. That was unassisted. Time of the goal, 19 minutes, 20 seconds. That's the first empty net goal on a shorthanded goal. The next one seals the deal here, and that's by Christopher Letang. His 5th goal of the season. The 11th assist of the season for Marcus Pettersson. Literally a couple seconds after Blake Lizotte throws the puck in the empty net. Not really throwing the puck, but he put the puck in the back of the empty net to make it 4-2 Pittsburgh over Toronto. That was our final score in Toronto in favor of the Leafs. And Chris Letang puts this one in the back of the net, of the empty net, shorthanded at 19 minutes and 34 seconds to seal the deal. Shorthanded goal for Chris Letang. 5-2 our final. Because of that, that was a wicked wrister though by Chris Letang. All right. That pretty much wraps up penalties and goal scorers. So when we return to Penguins postgame, we're talking 3 stars of the game. I'm going to give you my play of the game. And we're going to go over the game stats right off the jump. A lot of action to talk about in the NHL, but we're going to just keep it to talking about this game for this episode. I would love, and I mean it, I would love to talk about all the action that's going on Saturday tonight, on this Saturday night, but we would be here all day, so we're not going to do that. We are going to, however, get the shake of the game going, and we are going to get going with our game puck of the game in place of that. With that said, here we go with our next break of the program. When we return, the game stats to lead us off, and the 3 stars, followed by my play of the game. You're listening to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey here on Sports for Beginners, the podcast, and streaming every Wednesday off day. The Penguins have this hockey season only on the ice and behind the benches. Stick with us.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. Penguins 5, Leafs 2. Maple Leafs 2, Penguins 5. Welcome back to Penguins postgame here. Penguins and the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs fall to the Penguins by a final score of 5-2 tonight inside of PPG Paints Arena. And the Penguins get this homestand started on the right foot. They'll play the Avalanche on Tuesday night. I'm looking forward to bringing you that action, as well as some other action. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we'll have a Penguins pre-show for you ahead of the Avalanche game or any of the upcoming games. I was talking to my brother about that, and we're going to try this next go to try and do a pregame show ahead of the Pens and the Avalanche. So stay tuned for updates just in case we don't. One thing that you will get for sure, whether it's on a Wednesday or Tuesday night, you will get Penguins postgame. That is for sure. With that said, here we go with our game stats to kick off this segment as promised. Here we go. Our final shot totals in the second period, the Penguins get 10 shots on goal to the Maple Leafs 8-6, out shooting the Penguins in the first period. They were behind the Penguins 10-9 in the second period, and the Penguins took over in the third period to outshoot the Maple Leafs 29-27. With 13 shots in the third period for the Penguins, 13 in the third period for the Penguins, 10 for the Leafs in the third period. 9 shots on goal after 40 minutes of play for the Maple Leafs, 10 for the Penguins. to leave us with 29-27. So not exactly an outshot by Pittsburgh, but relatively close, if you will. All right. That leads us to the face-off circle. And the Penguins won 33 out of 51 of the face-offs tonight, winning 64.1% of those face-offs. The Maple Leafs winning 18 out of 51 for a face-off percentage of 35.3%. They were 33.3% good in power play, connecting on one of their 3 opportunities on the power play. Penguins penalty kill going 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. And the power play for the Penguins was 40% good, going 2 for 5 on the power play, which means the Maple Leafs would ultimately go 3 for 5 as the Penguins able to score on 2 of their opportunities on the power play. I believe that checks out 3 for 5. Gonna check that just to make sure. But I believe that checks out 3 for 5. I believe that should check out. Yep, that checks out. I just checked here from what the Penguins posted. Yep, that's 3 for 5 on the PK for the Maple Leafs. 1 for 3 on the power play. 2 for 5 are the Penguins on the power play. 2 for 3 in the PK tonight for the Penguins. And really, the shots on goal 30-27, according to the Penguins. But we'll see. Really, we'll see. NHL says 29-27, but we'll see. Anyways, penalty minutes for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 6 minutes for the Penguins tonight in the box. The Maple Leafs, 10 minutes in the penalty box tonight. They out-hit the Penguins, not really, but they had the difference maker in the hits at 18-17. And they were blocked by the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs had actually the most blocked shots in this game, 22-18. They gave the puck away too many times. The puck was given away by Toronto too many times tonight. 20 giveaways for Toronto tonight. Oh my goodness me. 9 giveaways for Pittsburgh tonight. So that's more on the Pittsburgh side, not really on the Maple Leaf side. But the Maple Leafs had more takeaways than the Penguins. Penguins only 2 takeaways in the game. And the Maple Leafs with 6 takeaways in tonight's hockey game. All right. Time now for your 3 stars of the game, which, if you listen to the Pittsburgh Penguins radio network, they are brought to you by your neighborhood Ford stores. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And following this, we'll take another break. When we come back, after that break, we will get into the shake of the game, and we will also provide you with a game puck of the game. All that still to come, including setting you up for what's next for the Maple Leafs and what's next for the Pittsburgh Penguins, as they won't play again until March 2nd, 2025. Again, that's March 2nd, 2025, the next and final time the Maple Leafs and the Penguins will play this season. But all that being said, we are not sponsored by the official car, truck, and SUV of the Pittsburgh Penguins. The official car, truck, and SUV of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are not sponsored by Ford, but that could be something down the road. So we will see. We're also not sponsored by Rivers Casino, but we'll talk about that when we get to the play of the game coming up in that next segment as well. Before we take this break, here is your 3 stars of the game. If you disagree with the 3 stars of the game, hit us up in our Discord server at Penguins Postgame Show Interactions with your 3 stars of the game. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. Please use subject for this. Please use the subject 3 stars of the game when sending the email to sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. Once again, that's sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. And with that said, you can also get in on the action of the play of the game and the shake of the game and game puck of the game by doing so the same way I just mentioned for the 3 stars. Speaking of that, let's get to it, shall we? Our third star tonight is Penguins forward, right winger, it's the Penguins forward and right winger, number 67, Micheal. He is our third star of the game. As it says here on the NHL website. Brian Rust is your second star. Stats are kind of pending here. And Michael Bunting is your first star. Bunting, Rust, and Micheal. Now, the Penguins do also have a bit of news for us here. But your 3 stars, as I have said, so far they are Bunting, Rust, and Micheal. I would have given Austin Matthews some credit where the credit is due. But listen, we're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I can understand why the 3 stars are all Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh, by the way, Michael Bunting's goal is the game winner, according to Sportsnet, is the game winner. The GWG. Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins, according to NHL Public Relations, he continues to etch his name in the history books as he moves up another list. Now with 1,023 assists. Most assists with one franchise in NHL history. He is behind a former Penguin and actually longtime Penguin player Mario Lemieux, who has 1,033 assists with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He and Sid are the only Penguin players who have more assists, or rather the most assists, with one franchise. Other notable names: Ray Bourque with the Bruins, 1,111. Assists. Wayne Gretzky with the Edmonton Oilers, 1,086 assists. And Detroit Red Wings, besides Gordie Howe, Steve Yzerman, 1,063. That's 1,063 assists for him. Gordie Howe also is below Sidney Crosby, but with the same number as Crosby, 1,023 assists. And a lot of other guys to note, but Sid and Mario are the only Penguin players to etch their name in history when it comes to the most assists with one franchise in NHL history. Also, some history being made for head coach Mike Sullivan, as he becomes the 21st head coach in NHL history to coach 700 games with one team. He now has 386 wins with the Penguins and that is the 7th most through 700 games with one team in NHL history. Right now, the top go-getter is John Cooper, 426 wins. The head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mike Babcock, when he was head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, he also is up there with Joel Quenneville. Both have 413 wins. Joel Quenneville with the Chicago Blackhawks, the Red Wings with Mike Babcock. Scotty Bowman, also a Detroit head coach. He had 410, I should say, wins. How about Glenn Slater, 403 wins. And Claude Julien, 392 wins. How about Tom Blake, 385 wins? And Billy Ray, 376 wins. Nice. Nice. Nice nice work there, Mike. Clearly a lot's going right for you, even when the Penguins aren't going right. But you've been sticking around, and to get 700 games as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. That's quite some history. All right. So the points have been brought up, but yes, the 3 stars are indeed Rickard Rakell, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. Brian Rust, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. And Michael Bunting, 1 goal, no assists, 1 point. To edge to his name. And speaking of that, all credit going to Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada, and all those involved. But before we take this break, as we go into the 3 stars here, as we're doing this, why don't we hear from the man himself as he spoke post-game after the win. So why don't we hear what was said? Why don't we hear what was said post-game after the game? He joins Kyle Bukauskas post-game. So I'm going to send you there. And when I return, we will take a break. Actually, you know what? Let's have the interview take us to break. So this interview with Michael Bunting after beating his former team, the Maple Leafs, will take us to break. When we come back after the break, it's time for the shake of the game, the play of the game, forthcoming right off the jump. And then the game puck of the game will follow the shake of the game. And then we're just about done here on Penguins postgame. So right now we're sending you over to Penguins Michael Bunting speaking with Kyle Bukauskas after the 5-2 win over the Maple Leafs.
Michael, it was clear. No one world how like last night.
And we're going to wait this out for an ad here because an ad just decided to jump in.
So how did you go gathering yourselves?
Nope, there we go. The ad decided to hold off here, so let's
Michael, it was clear.
So let's try that again. And we're going to start again with Kyle Bukauskas and Michael Bunting. That's going to take us to break. As we take a break here on Penguins postgame, here's Michael Bunting and Kyle Bukauskas.
Well, Michael, it was clear. No one was thrilled with how you guys played last night in New York. So how did you go about gathering yourselves and resetting here tonight?
Yeah, obviously yesterday didn't go the way we wanted it, but we were coming in here back to back against another tough opponent. Obviously, Toronto over there is playing really well right now, and we knew we had it cut out for us, but we were able to get the win tonight, and I thought we played really well.
There have been some nerve-wracking third periods for this team this year, but tonight did not seem to necessarily be one from them. I know they pushed there in the end, but what did you like most about it?
Yeah, obviously we bend didn't break, so that's what we want to do every single night, and be able to keep those leads when we have them. And I thought we played a great game all three periods. It was a tough night for sure, and they pressed a lot, but you know what, we were able to get the win.
Your celebration on your goal was noteworthy. Is there still a little extra juice when scoring against your old team?
Yeah, obviously I have a lot of buddies over there, great lifelong friends, and you know I really enjoyed my time in Toronto, and obviously that's home. So anytime, you know, you score anytime in the NHL, it's pretty exciting. But yeah, I know that was a good one.
What do you think has allowed this team to get better results on a more consistent basis here of late, Michael?
Yeah, I think just, you know, playing our game and, you know, sticking to our structure and our game plan going into every single night. And, you know, we've had success as of late, and we want to keep this rolling. Obviously, it wasn't the start we wanted, but, you know, we're confident in our group, and, you know, the last 6 games have been going our way.
Congrats on the night. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Back in a moment. Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Michael Bunting sent us to break, and this means we are just about done here with this edition of Penguins Postgame. So with that being said, you heard from Michael Bunting, but one of the key questions as he was talking to take us to break that caught my eye as we go to the play of the game, just before we get to the shake of the game, and then we've got the game puck of the game coming up in this segment as well. One of the key things that stuck out to me in that post-game interview that we just heard, all credit again going to Hockey Night in Canada, and all credit to Sportsnet, the NHL, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. All of that credit is going to them. Just for everyone to be aware. But one of the key questions that came about in that interview that I liked a lot was this question right here. When Michael was asked about his goal was noteworthy, and what stuck out to me was the response from Michael Bunting, because this is what he said. The question was this: your celebration, your goal, that was noteworthy. These are still a little extra juice when scoring against your old team. Well, okay, maybe it wasn't that part, but Michael said, yeah, obviously I have a lot of buddies over there, great lifelong friends, and I really enjoyed my time in Toronto, and obviously that's home. So anytime, you score anytime in the NHL, is pretty exciting. But yeah, I know that was a lot. That was a good one. And then Kyle asked him, "What do you think is allowed this team to get better results on a more consistent basis here of late, Michael?" Mike said, "Yeah, I think just, playing our game and, stick into our structure and our game plan going into every single night. And, we've had success as of late, and we want to keep this rolling. Obviously, it wasn't the start we wanted, but, we're confident in our group, and, the last 6 games have been going our way. And then there was all congrats on the night and thanks for the time. And the simple thank you for Michael Bunting. With that, that brings me actually to the play of the game, brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network, Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Disclaimer, we are not sponsored by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. But just like the 3 stars, that could be something down the road. My play of the game, by the way, is actually going to go to a goal scored by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm talking about Mitch Marner putting the Penguins on notice early in that first period after the power play goal given up by the Maple Leafs. I really like that response from Mitch Marner, really letting the Penguins know, if you think we're just going to walk in and let you, shut us out, or let you shoot the puck and beat us in any way you can, let alone shut us out, you have another thing coming. I feel like that was kind of the thing that was coming from Mitch Marner. So my play of the game is going to go to Mitch Marner. Nice, easy tie-up, but then, of course, things kind of spiraled. And the Maple Leafs able to tie it up again in the second period with the only goal. But then the Penguins kind of went on cruise control after Bunting's power play goal, and then back-to-back shorthanded empty net goals led to a Penguins W, 5-2 your final. That said, time now to get to the player of the game segment. That's called our Shake of the Game segment. And this is a segment inspired by former Penguin number 59, Jake Guentzel. Jake Guentzel inspired this segment we call the Shake of the Game. And without getting into further details on how that actually came about, we're just going to get to it, shall we? I think we shall. We're just about ready to get to an hour of this, so we want to make sure that we're not wasting as much time as possible. So, with that said, tonight's Maple Leaf player of the game is going to go, it's a pick-me-up, and it's going to go to their goaltender, Joseph Woll. 24 saves on 27 shots, gave up 3 goals, 2 on the power play and 1 at even strength. But I still feel like Joseph played well. His save percentage at the end of the night is .889 and played 58 minutes and 53 seconds. If you play slower than that, then you really need this kind of thing. But for Joseph to do what he did and stop as many goals as he could, of course, the last 2 goals were empty net goals. But for him to stop as many goals as he did, even though he gave up 3 in total, 1 at even strength and 2 on the power play, as I said, he still made some highlight reel saves that I'm pretty sure once Penguins and Maple Leaf Post recap wrap up, we'll be looking at and saying, oh my goodness, how did he make that stay out? That brings me to the Penguins Shake of the Game recipient tonight. And tonight my recipient is going to go to defenseman Chris Letang, a +3 in this game. 1 point, 1 goal, no assists. 2 penalty minutes for Chris Letang in 23 minutes and 19 seconds of total ice time. 26 shifts for Letang tonight. 7 shots on goal. 1 of those 7 going in the back of the net behind Joseph Woll. 2 blocks, 2 hits. No takeaways or giveaways in this game. So it's going to be Chris Letang for Pittsburgh tonight for the Shake of the Game. And for the Maple Leafs, Joseph Woll is going to get the Shake of the Game. Game Puck of the Game for Toronto. That's going to go to Mitch Marner. Got things started for the Maple Leafs. And got one of their 2 goals in this game tonight. The Penguins Game Puck of the Game tonight, that is going to go to, you know what? That one's going to go to Brian Rust. That's going to go to Brian Rust. Really like how Rust played tonight. Same thing could be said for Mitch Marner. If you disagree or you have another opinion on that, let me know in the Discord server at Penguins Post-Game Show Interactions, or in our comments. You can let us know in the comments section. You can also let us know on YouTube on comments. Spotify now has allowed us to have comments, so you can let us know about that. From there, you can also email me at sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. Please use subject Shake of the Game, Game Puck of the Game, Play of the Game, 3 stars of the game, when sending the email. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for the Game Puck of the Game, the Play of the Game, and the Shake of the Game. And that will just about bring us to a final segment here. And this one is basically our wrap up. What's next for the Maple Leafs? What's next for the Penguins? And what is next for this podcast? Coming up next on Penguins Postgame, as we wrap it up on the other side. Stay with us. After 4 nights of 2-point parties, a couple of those nights, 2-point parties on 5th Avenue, the Penguins celebrate another 2-point party on 5th Avenue after splitting their back-to-back when they fell to the New York Rangers 4-2 on Friday night. They pick up a 5-2, victory over the Maple Leafs to get even in the season series with the Maple Leafs. That will be decided on March 1st. March 2nd. Just quickly gonna remember that here, as it is something worth talking about. Yes, it is March 2nd. Sorry about that. March 2nd, 2025, when they'll do it all again, right here inside of PPG Paints Arena. You heard before the last break that we had in this program, just before we were starting to wrap this up. You heard Michael Bunting speak with Kyle Bukauskas post-game. And again, all credit to the Penguins, Maple Leafs, NHL, and Sportsnet for that audio that we just played. No copyright is intended. Probably should have said that before the interview went on, but I've done so now, so that's okay. Up next for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's a showdown with the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday night. Back at it on Tuesday night. They'll play the Devils on Tuesday night, December the 10th, 2024. At home for a one-night only game against the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday, December the 12th, 2024. 7 p.m. Eastern for both games. Back at it on Hockey Night in Canada, this time in the Motor City. They will play the Detroit Red Wings on the 14th of December. And then they go head-to-head with the Buffalo Sabres in Toronto, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's a back-to-back, so it's Saturday and Sunday. Game time against Buffalo, 5 p.m. Eastern. And last but certainly not least, they're out to Dallas for a 7:30 p.m. Eastern puck drop on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, excuse me. Because we're headed into 2025. And we're coming down the last month of 2024. I gotta remember that I keep saying stuff when we are supposed to be focused on 2024 right now, on the way to 2025. That's my bad. So next up for the Leafs, road, home, road, home, road, leading to a back-to-back that will be road and then home to kick off a 2-game homestand. They are wrapping up a 2-game road trip that they are currently on in New Jersey on Tuesday night, when they will take on the Devils. The Anaheim Ducks are in town on Thursday night to take on the Maple Leafs. Then the Detroit Red Wings will host the Maple Leafs next Saturday night from Little Caesars Arena. And next Sunday, the 15th, the Sabres are hosted by the Maple Leafs at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then the following Wednesday night, December 18th, 2024, that's the Dallas Stars hosting the Maple Leafs, 7:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. As for the Penguins, just like the Maple Leafs, they're back at it on Tuesday night, wrapping up a 2-game homestand that they started on the right note looking for a 2-game winning streak this time around. As they will play Nathan MacKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday night, December the 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They will then play Montreal for the final time this season as they go head-to-head with the Montreal Canadiens, looking to win that season series in the finale at the Bell Center at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's a 2-game road trip that will wrap up next Saturday night in Ottawa, when the Ottawa Senators will host the Pittsburgh Penguins. Another 2-game road trip will begin, but not before the Penguins are back at home against the Los Angeles Kings on December 17th, 2024. 7 p.m. puck drop is the time. And lastly, the Penguins playing some late night hockey with 3 games going to become 2 games before the Christmas break, as the Nashville Predators host the Penguins in Smashville on Thursday night, December 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 2024. So, good stuff coming for the Maple Leafs, good stuff coming for the Penguins. Our next broadcast will be Penguins versus Avalanche. And it looks like Thomas and I are going to try to do a pre-show before the Avalanche game. I will be back with you after the game for the recap of Penguins post-game, Penguins and the Avalanche. That is the first meeting of 2 meetings this season, with meeting number 2 happening in the new year on March 4th, 2025. But for now, let's stay focused on meeting number 1, which is next time on Penguins postgame. Penguins win it 5-2 over the Maple Leafs. They've played 29 games this season, and we've covered every single one of them so far. We're on a bit of a roll, I'd like to say, but don't get cocky. And that's just a reminder to me, by the way. Penguins currently sitting in the 6th spot in the Metropolitan Division right now. It's going to be a wild ride the rest of the way. 53 games left to go in the 82-game season. The Maple Leafs have played 27. So, out of 82, they have played now 27 games, and they have only 55 games to go. The Penguins have 53 games left. The Maple Leafs, 55. When we talk Penguins and Maple Leafs next, it's going to be a whole nother level, especially in the new year, because a lot of games will have been played by then. Once again, the final score, Maple Leafs 2, Penguins 5. Penguins get even with the Maple Leafs. Looking for an all-hands-on-deck March 2nd, 2025, afternoon matinee game between the Pens and the Maple Leafs. And that's going to be a good one. In the finale of the season series here in Pittsburgh. It's a 2-point party on 5th Avenue. Go enjoy it. I will see you after the Penguins and the Avalanche for round 1 of the 2024-2025 season of McKinnon versus Crosby. Until then, have a great night, everybody, and we will see you next time right here on Penguins Postgame. Good night, everybody. Oh, and one more thing. Let's go Pens! Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins Hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.